Hey YouTube, you asked us your questions. Here are your answers now. So Dr. Shabir, let's get started. Our first question is from Ahmed_K. Is having a girlfriend or boyfriend haram? And how does one marry someone without knowing the individual?
Well, and to know somebody before marriage, obviously this is recommended in our religion. The Prophet, peace be upon him, advised a young man, for example, to see a girl that was proposed to him for marriage. He said this will obviously help love to be cultivated between you. So knowing the person, this is fine. Now, the extent of knowing, obviously, the contrast to this is that at the other extreme, people think they have to go out dating, they have to be intimate with each other, sometimes live together for a while before deciding whether or not they're going to get married. Sometimes they have children before marriage. But all of this is not acceptable in Islam. What is acceptable is some knowledge of the individual, you know, your dreams, your aspirations, your hopes, to be compatible with each other, your lifestyles and so on. And this can all come out through discussions that are up and above board. No private meetings in which there is a possibility that Satan might influence people to commit acts of fornication or adultery. And in that case, it's permissible to interact with the other person before marriage. So it depends on what a person means by boyfriend or girlfriend. Now, if one knows that this is the person I'm going to get married to, or they're planning to get married, and they're doing everything above board, decent, without hiding in a corner, then this is acceptable. So what is not acceptable is touching each other and stimulating one's desire over that and so on. So a conversation of a decent, business-like, honest approach to understanding who the other person is, to gauge compatibility for marriage, this is acceptable.
Okay. So we have a question now from Omar Ali, and he's asking, why does Allah allow His creation to do His job for Him? Why the 100 lashes, for example? Can't God just wait until the day of judgment and give the punishment Himself?
Yeah, so to Omar we say that God has given humans the responsibility to enact His will on earth. Our Christian friends pray, thy kingdom come, thine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. But it's not done automatically by God. God gives responsibilities to some of His servants to do what is right. And of course, He gives people the choice. Some will choose to do the will of God, and some will choose to do the opposite. But we can say, okay, I'm just going to do the will of God, leave others to do whatever they want. But then that does not allow us to govern society. If society is to be governed, then some laws have to be in place. And it's either the law of God or some other law that we invent on our own. So for the believer, it is the law of God that is to be implemented. And of course, many laws which people come up with on their own may, through human intelligence, coincide with what God wills for people and will coincide with the law of God as well. But more specifically, believers will look to their sacred scriptures to find out what did God dictate for us to be done in certain circumstances, and they would want to do precisely that.
Cool. Well, not cool, but good answer. Okay, Dina Sal, what are your thoughts on the growing rise of atheism, agnosticism in your society?
Well, I interpret Dina's answer as a question as referring to when she says your society, probably meaning Muslim societies. Of course, my own society is Canadian society, and there is a rise of atheism and agnosticism in Canada as well. So it's a problem everywhere, but it is also notably a problem in Muslim majority countries. And this has largely been ignored, but we need to deal with it. Muslim scholarship needs to be aware of this problem. The Muslim scholars need to study atheism and agnosticism and come up with reasonable answers to these questions about life and belief, and continue to guide Muslims to hold on to their faith in these difficult times.
Okay. Ibn Saifi is asking, is the one who leaves the majority of his or her prayers out of laziness, but still believes in Allah and His messengers, peace be upon them, still a Muslim?
The answer to that is yes, and the controversy about this, is in this form, that some think that if anyone abandons his prayers, automatically that person is outside of the fold of Islam, and that view is supported by some narratives attributed to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. However, some major scholars of Islam, such as Imam Abu Hanifa and his important followers, his students, have said that one does not automatically become a non-Muslim just by neglecting the prayers, because there's a difference between belief and action. Prayers are an action. A person may still have the belief, but not the action, though of course the belief would in that case appear to be very weak. But the belief is still there. So if a person believes in the basic principles of Islam, but for some reason, either through ignorance or laziness, they're not praying, they're still Muslim believers. And I think this is the most reasonable view, and one that should be known. Otherwise, confusion arises if somebody is married to a spouse who does not pray, and one thinks, okay, my spouse is a non-Muslim, therefore my marriage is severed. And some Muslim scholars would actually tell you that your marriage is automatically severed as a result, and people are all scared and they get all confused about the religious status of their marriage. So the simple thing is that stay in your marriage, encourage your spouse to pray, and you yourself do what is right the best you can, but take things gradually, a step at a time.
Okay, Ashikur Rahman is asking us about music. Music has been an integral part of human culture and behavior. How come why is there not a single verse in the Holy Quran that says music is haram or a sinful thing? Why has the Quran ignored such an important part of human culture? And they also go on to say there are many hadiths there aren't many hadiths on this important matter. Why? Seems to be the crux of the question.
It's an interesting question. The way in which Abdurrahman Ashikur Rahman has put the question is, why does the Quran ignore this important aspect of human civilization? It's interesting. It may be because it was the Quran's general policy to just leave most things as they are, but to issue corrective measures where these are necessary. And there was no necessary corrective measure to be issued in the case of music. Music was known, it was practiced before Islam, and continued to be practiced by Muslims as well. It's only later on that in the 2nd century of Islam and onwards that some Muslim scholars took a pietistic type of attitude where even laughter was considered to be something taboo. And when they collected a hadith attributed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, the hadiths that pursued the same line of thinking were attractive to them. They thought these are authentic, and this is what normally was collected in our sacred writings, in our hadith texts. I shouldn't have said sacred writings because they're not necessarily sacred, but hadith texts, reports about what the Prophet, peace be upon him, said and did and approved. And the flavor of that came to represent music in a bad light. But the balanced view is that music can be both good and bad. It depends on what you use it for and what it does to you. Some can draw you closer to God. Some can draw you away from God. Some lyrics are good words, and some are foul words. So you have to make that distinction. So this is left to human judgment. The Quran has left a lot of things to human judgment, but has given corrective measures where these were necessary.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
Thanks for watching, YouTube. Keep your questions coming, and we'll do another segment soon. Hey YouTube, we hope you benefited from this video. If you liked it, or if you didn't, let us know in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more, check out some of our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.